I'm telling you, he has told this to, but I can confirm at least 11 other people that he's told had fake gear.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with a bombshell of a video that was posted by Quinton and this was dropped just a few hours ago about his former coach Matt Jansen, who by the way did such a terrible job prepping Quinton for this year's New York Pro that he not only looked way smaller, but at the same time he wasn't as sharp at this year's New York Pro if we compare him to Texas Pro that he did 2 years ago.
I lost weight that I had no business losing. And I was leaner years before. Like 2 years ago, I was leaner, 10 pounds heavier than I was this year.
And we have to keep in mind, conditioning is one of Quinton's strongest suits. Now, it is kinda ironic that majority of that criticism that went towards Nick Walker when he decided to pull out of this year's Olympia. Now, Sean Ray and Fuad, they were the two voices who called out Matt Jansen that he's the one who should be held accountable because Nick Walker was doing whatever he was supposed to do as instructed by his coach, Matt Jansen.
You're telling me his coach didn't realize something was off? Oh, his body's not responding? You just realized his body wasn't responding, bro? Like, his body wasn't responding at 14 weeks out, 12 weeks out, 10 weeks out. At what point do you realize, oh shit, this isn't gonna work?
So that narrative that was floated in the bodybuilding community that Nick had fake gear, well, turns out it isn't the first time Matt has came up with this excuse whenever his clients do not get in shape. And although Quinton did not mention the name of these athletes, but there are plenty, because Quinton himself, he became a victim of Matt's this idea that he had fake gear, and that is why he lost so much muscle during the prep phase.
Because he gaslit me after it and he said that my gear was fake. Yes, guys, he told me my gear was fake. I haven't asked Nick what the actual problem was. I just know what everybody else knows. I know the rumors of fake gear. I'm telling you, he has told this shit to, I can confirm, I'm not gonna throw names under the bus because, you know, I'm not trying to bring people in like that, but I can confirm at least 11 other people that he's told had fake gear because things didn't turn out the way that it should have.
And it is kinda funny that it wasn't the 2 hours of cardio that Matt had Quinton doing, and on top of that, he had him only on 100 grams of carbs for weeks on end. And Quinton himself agrees that his New York Pro look, that was like the worst look of his career, especially considering the amount of time that went into that prep.
Cardio that I was doing because you were afraid I wasn't going to show up in shape, it wasn't the 2 hours of cardio, it was my gear was fake. Now, there's zero accountability after, and people are wondering why I fired him.
So when Nick Walker says he needs to handle some stuff, maybe he is considering a change in his coach. While the reigning Miss Olympia Samson, he switched from Milos Sarcev, and now looking back at that decision, maybe there was a blessing in disguise that he did not show up in shape for the Arnold, Ohio earlier this year, because that allowed him to rethink about his career. And look at him now, he is the Miss Olympia. So we can expect the same from Nick Walker as well. And let's dissect this idea that Matt Jansen's clients, they are always in shape. Didn't Sean Carida show up way smaller than we all expected at this year's Miss Olympia? The thing is, the judges' feedback after the Olympia last year, that was to bring Sean in with a tighter midsection with that same size while preserving all the muscle. Because that is always a top priority, especially in professional bodybuilding, to not lose the muscle that you have already built. And I think we can all agree that Matt Jansen failed to do that. What about Brett Wilkin, his other client, who just won this year's Legion Sports? So how many of you guys will agree that Brett was in a great condition, no doubt, and he was looking really massive leading into that show, but he also lost a lot of size, especially in the last couple of weeks. So how did Justin Shai did at his first ever Miss Olympia last year with Matt Jansen? Well, I'm gonna say not very good. He placed 15th out of a total of 17 guys. But that isn't that important. It was his first ever Miss Olympia, and he clearly needed more back. But I don't think even Justin himself was satisfied with the look that he brought at his Olympia debut that year. So Quinton really ripped Matt Jansen's head off in his latest YouTube video, and he actually made a lot of solid arguments, a lot of good points. So this video from Quinton can be a guiding light for many of these guys out there, not to overly trust their coaches, and a whole lot of criticism that is being directed towards Nick Walker in the last couple of weeks. It should have been directed towards Matt Jansen.
There's a lot of other high-level athletes he's worked with that he's done this to in the past. A lot of amateur athletes. Again, there's a formula. Sometimes it works with athletes, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes athletes don't make it to shows.
Next up, we have Samson Dauda. As humble as ever, when he was asked this question, that will Hadi Chupan ever be able to beat him again? So no arrogance, saying that I am unbeatable. My time has started. Nothing like that.
Do you think that Hadi will ever be able to beat you? Of course he can. Dude, are you serious, man? Look, you got to understand something about bodybuilding, especially at the highest level. Anybody can beat anybody at any given day. That's just what it is. The minute you start believing in your head that you're unbeatable is the minute you start to lose.
Although a vast majority of the bodybuilding community, they believe that if Samson can repeat this same look from this year's Miss Olympia, the fact is he is just so damn massive and he has improved so much from the back as well that it is gonna be extremely hard to beat him. But Samson isn't allowing all that to get to his head. And that, I have to say, is actually a great strategy that will allow Samson Dauda to keep working hard, keep on improving, and always strive to be a better version of himself. Now, if you have followed Samson for a while, you know that whenever he was asked who does he thinks is the biggest threat to the title, he would always say everyone in the top 10. So his attitude remains the same, even after becoming Miss Olympia. So he intends to do this upcoming Arnold, which is in March. And that is gonna be just it. And then focus on defending his Mr. Olympia title.
Any shows planned except the Arnold? I mean, obviously I got the Arnold, but in terms of anything before that, definitely not. I got a lot of traveling, a lot of appearances to do. And we're flying to China this week. So we got a lot of that and a lot of appearances, even here in the UK. I can't remember all of them, but I know that we got a few in different gyms in the UK as well. So I'm going to put that out there as soon as we're confirmed. And yes, other than that, Arnold classes is one as far as I can see right now. But you know me, man, things might change, but definitely not going to be before the Arnold class.
So as a Miss Olympia, Samson will be making a lot of money by guest posing all over the world, as he is heading to China this week. So he doesn't need to compete in smaller shows to make some money. Again, I'm gonna say you have got to love Samson Dauda for standing up for his wife on every major platform. Although he doesn't have to. He is the one in the spotlight. But Samson never forgets to mention his wife Marlena, who helped him tremendously, not only throughout this Olympia prep, but throughout his whole bodybuilding journey. Although Marlena has only one client, but that is the one holding the sandal. And that actually makes a very solid argument for Marlena to be regarded as the best coach of this year.
From the Olympia weekend, okay, my wife holding the trophy. I don't want to be in the limelight at all, I mean, that's why I can never get more behind the camera. For her to go through what she did to this year, put her name in the mix, took all that heat and all that foul mouth talking about her, and to stand there and hold that trophy up, my favorite moment. And I couldn't be more proud of her because of that.
So what an incredible top 3 we had at Brazil Pro in Classic Physique division last night. So Ramon Dino, the biggest Classic Physique star at this show, he was aiming to get his early qualification for next year, and that he did. So the top 3, they were Ramon, Livinho Pro, and Niall Darwin. And interestingly, all 3 of these guys, they were Olympians this year, although Livinho did not make it to the US because of some visa problems. So Ramon had a 20 weeks prep for this year's Miss Olympia. So all that hard work, all that sweat and pain, all that money that went into that prep. But do you guys know what the major feedback was for Ramon by Tal Mannion after the Olympia this year? That was practice posing. Invest as much time perfecting those poses as much as he does for training and dieting.
For me, the way he was hitting it took away all density, all separation, and all detail to it. Also sacrificing so much of his width. From last year to this year, you'll see a major difference in that pose. I think this is the biggest thing that he needs to work on is overall width. So really focusing on adding width to the lats. That's going to improve his front double.
So Ramon was supposed to win in Brazil because there wasn't any real competition for him. But the man was still struggling on the stage. Just like the Olympia last weekend, he was sweating on the stage. But regardless of that, he pulled it off. And even though he is one of the top guys in Classic, but still that was a pretty damn good top 3 last night. So I want to talk about Niall Darwin, who finished 3rd last night. I believe he is gonna be one of the biggest stars in Classic in just a couple of more years, and who knows, maybe even next year. The man has a massive quad sweep, one of the smallest possible waist. But more important than that, he has another 7 pounds to go before he maxes out his classic physique weight limit. And that, I have to say, is plenty of muscle. So his Olympia debut this year, that also went extremely well. He was 11th out of a total of 58 guys. Now he was extending one of his legs too far back in that back double biceps, and that might have cost him. But I believe he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in Classic in the upcoming years. So how good is Livinho Pro? He did not even make it to the Olympia stage this year. He was unable to make his Olympia debut, and still, he was able to beat a guy who was 11th in the world this year. And that says so much about his potential. He's also one of those guys who has incredible quad sweep, plus an unbelievably small waistline. Now coming back to Ramon, I think he seriously needs more lat work, especially from the front, because he did not have the best V-taper even here in Brazil. Plus his quads did not look at his best out of the top 3 last night, because he doesn't have the best outer quad sweep. So both these other guys, Niall+Livinho and Livinho Pro, they will be able to qualify for the Olympia next year for sure. And just by looking at the performance here in Brazil, they have a solid chance of being top 10 at the Olympia next year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.